Okay, what I got here is a 2006 Mazda 3. Got the check engine light on. I have a system 2 lean code, and I have a EVAP code. But the complaint is that you go to the gas station, put fuel in it. The customer brought it into me with no fuel, so that I can put some fuel in it. And once you put fuel, it won't start. So I'm gonna go to the gas station right now, put some fuel in it, and see how it reacts. I shut the engine off right now, and it starts right up. Started right up. So I'm heading to the gas station, put some fuel in it, and see what it does. Okay, I'm gonna begin fueling. I'm gonna put in $5. Fuel is not going in very well. I don't know why, but it's not venting very well. Go slowly. Okay, that's $4. That's $5. All right. Well, now we're gonna go ahead and try to. Okay, already put the fuel cap back on. Let's go ahead and see what it does. Start it right up. Start it right up. Okay. Well, let's head back and run some tests. I'm gonna have to smoke the EVAP, check the fuel cap, and check why I have a system 2 lean at startup. Okay, now that we got our vehicle ID'd, we're gonna go ahead and check for codes. I'm gonna check memory codes, see what appear here. Okay, key engine on. Press continue. P0442 EVAP system leak detected. P2187 system 2 lean at idle, bank 1, and this is only one bank. It's a 2.34 cylinder engine, 2006 Mazda 3. What I did notice when I went to the gas station is that the shift for second gear, or the 1-2 upshift, was a little bit way too rough. The 2-3 was a little bit harsh, but the 1-2 was a hard shift. Now, with this code, system 2 lean at idle and transmission shifting too hard, I'm kind of inclining to a dirty mass airflow sensor. Let's go ahead and check our data here. Engine management data. Let's look for the mass airflow sensor and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna go to custom. I'm gonna deselect all, and let's look for the mass airflow sensor. Okay, voltage, grams per second. Let's look for the barometric pressure, actually the baro volts. Now we're gonna look at the barometric pressure, and not really on the mass airflow sensor, not the flow of the mass airflow, but the barometric pressure. Here in Houston, we're almost at sea level, where we are at sea level. Galveston is about 40 miles from here. We should be in between 29 and 30 inches in mercury. So let's go ahead and press OK. Let's put this into graph. Okay, we are at barometric pressure. Okay, we're good. Let's go ahead and start the car. What I did notice is that, it actually worked pretty good. I took the air cleaner off and I checked the mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor is dirty, but I disconnected it and connected it back on. It has a brand new air filter, so it could have a loose connection there. And when I scanned it the first time, the barometric pressure was different. let me exit. Let me go to custom again and see if we can find the hertz, the mass airflow sensor hertz. Okay, I don't see it here. It should be like at 160 hertz, and I use my other scan tool here. Yeah, it's not giving me no hertz reading. Okay, let me go ahead and select all and go through all of it over here. It's at 4 volts. Engine coolant temperature, it's at 30. Barometric pressure is good. So maybe because I moved that connection there at the gas station, it started right up. I was starting to do some tests, and I decided to go ahead and film this, but I should have filmed it before, and I moved the connection and it jumped up to 30. And every time you do a wide open throttle, which I did a couple of times, when you do a wide open throttle, it does like a relearn, or it updates the information. So basically, when you clean your mass airflow sensor, you do 3 wide open throttles for it to register, you know, the current reading. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the next test. I'm gonna check the fuel cap with my fuel cap tester, and if that doesn't pass the test, then the fuel cap is the cause for the system, for the EVAP leak. And if that passes the test, I gotta smoke the system. Okay, well, before we proceed, I want to take a look at the short-term fuel trim and the long-term fuel trim. Long-term fuel trim is adding fuel. It's at 20.3%, and the short-term fuel trim, I'm at idle right now. It's a 16 or 15. It's changing here about 16%, 15 to 16%. 20%. That's a lot of fuel. Should be minus or plus 5, or 10 will be all right, I guess. But 20 is way too much fuel. So I'm gonna go ahead and rev it up to maybe 2,000 RPM and see what I'm at. 2250 RPMs right now, and my long-term fuel trim is still at 20. My short-term fuel trim, it's going down. Let me go to 2500 RPM, and it's not changing. Let's look at the O2 sensor here. Let's look at the other O2 sensor. Here we go. But the O2 sensor here is staying at center, and I am at, well, this is the milliamps. So this is bank 1, sensor 2, filter fuel trim, sensor 1. This is it. I'm not liking that at all. It's -0. Well, it's going over a volt. It's too lean. It's way too lean. I'm at 2600 RPM here. This is milliamps. I really would like to see the volts. Let me exit here right quick. Let me go to regular engine data and look for the O2 sensor there. Okay. Go scroll up, scroll up. No. Barometric. It's right where it should be. Exit here one more time. Bank 1, sensor 2. Voltage. That's going to be the aftercat. Which that's the way it's supposed to operate. Let me go to generic functions here. Generic functions. Let's go to calibration. Live data. We don't have live data here. Let's go to OBD2 direct. Go home. OBD2 direct. It's not able to be active. I need to stop communication. OBD2 direct. OBD diagnose. Start communication. It's a 12-volt vehicle. I need the key 20, so I need to change my personality key. Here it is. Okay. Let's continue. Continue. No. Okay, so I got my fuel cap tester here. I got the fuel cap. I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on. Okay, it's ready. So I'm going to start pumping until it tells me to stop pumping. Okay, it says stop. So I'm checking the fuel cap to see if it's going to pass the test. Okay, the fuel cap has passed the test. So now we're gonna go ahead and smoke the EVAP system, see where that PO442 is coming from. Okay, so I got my Autel DS708 instead of my snap-on varus to do my bidirectional control here. So I'm gonna go to my EVAP system, and I don't want to see any data here. I just am gonna go to escape. See if I can go straight to my bidirectional control. Is at 0%, and right now my EVAP hose, purge hose, is leaking. Okay, well, let me go outside and show you on camera, and then I'm gonna start moving my bidirectional controls here to see if I can pulse with that EVAP purge solenoid to see if it decreases the leak. I got my smoke machine on right now. Okay, so here it is, supposed to be closed, normally closed. It's leaking, smoking. Here is the EVAP control solenoid right there. That's my solenoid there. And I have my leak detection pump. It's on. It's smoking. I'm going to go ahead and increase the duty cycle on that solenoid and see if we decrease in leakage here. Okay, so I'm gonna go at 10.15%. Got a little bit of glare here. Hope you can see that. 10.15%. It's flowing a little more. Increase it by 16.79%. 18.35%. 19.14%. That's the max I can go. on this purge solenoid. Now I'm going to go to select the negative, and it should bring me back down to 0, and there is no change there. So here we have an issue here. That's why he was saying that he would put fuel in it. All the fuel vapors would go into the intake manifold after filling up the tank, and once he tried to start it, the fuel was too rich, a lot of vapors there. And also, when you have a leak like this, that is considered a vacuum leak, and if your system is running too lean, or you have too much unmetered air going into the system, like you saw here, my fuel trims were 20% and up, so the computer was adding fuel because there was some unmetered air passing through this EVAP purge solenoid. So here we have it. I'm going to go ahead and take the mass airflow sensor off and show it to you. It is dirty. The element is dirty. We're going to clean that off. We're going to put a EVAP control solenoid or purge solenoid here, and that should conclude our leakage test. Another thing I need to point out right here is that my barometric pressure is 4.02 volts, and on the pounds is 14.8, 14.6, and we were different on the snap-on Verus. I don't know which tool is not giving me the right reading, but the drivability on a hard 1-2 shift, that's an indication of a dirty mass airflow sensor, and I've confirmed this on a lot of vehicles, on the Winstars, the Freestars. They have a harsh 1-2 upshifts. I mean, I work on transmissions, that's what I do, and I found out that the mass airflow sensor will cause that dirty mass airflow sensor. So we have that symptom here. This is not a transmission drivability issue. It's a friend of my neighbor, so we're taking care of his drivability concern here. But he does have that symptom, and mass airflow sensors do cause that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that sensor, see if it corrects that issue. If not, we need to replace the mass airflow sensor along with the EVAP purge control solenoid. Just want to point that out to you. Okay, so here is the mass airflow sensor. The air flows from on this direction. See how it is? Black and dirty. See, on that opposite end is clean. See all that black soot on it? This mass airflow sensor is dirty. Now there's a possibility that by cleaning this might not work, but we are going to go ahead and just clean it up. And I am going to use a mass airflow sensor cleaner. I'm not going to use any carburetor cleaner or brake cleaner or anything like that. Let me get the can right quick. Hold on. Here it is. This is what I'm going to be using. Mass airflow sensor cleaner. It's safe for mass airflow sensors. This is what it's made for. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this sensor, put it back on, and go around the block and see if the second gear issue goes away. Okay, I did a couple of key-on engine running tests. I found something very interesting. With the EVAP solenoid connected like it's supposed to be, the engine dies. It doesn't finish the key-on engine running. Right now, the engine is running very smoothly, a little bit smoother than before. But I did a key-on engine running test, and the engine did not die. But I have the vacuum source plugged, so it gave me an incorrect EVAP flow. Now I'm gonna do that test again, just to show you that the engine is not gonna die. Then I'm gonna plug back on the EVAP purge solenoid, and it's not going to finish the test. Gotta turn my wheel, steering wheel, press the brake. Here we go, it's doing the tests. It's gonna start doing the cylinder balance test here in a minute. RPM is going to change. The last test is the EVAP test, and that's where the engine was dying. See, the engine did not die. He's doing the EVAP test right now. Here comes the code. Okay, there we go. EVAP system incorrect purge flow and EVAP system leak detected. This is the same that we had before, but the P0441 is the one that we just created by plugging that line. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to clear those two codes and I'm going to run that test one more time with the EVAP purge control solenoid plugged in like it's supposed to go, and the engine's going to die. Okay, so this is basically what I did. Disconnected. P0442, actually we created those two codes right now by this being disconnected. P0441, I plugged in my vacuum hose here, my vacuum gauge, just to do this testing. I'm going to plug this thing back on the way it should go. There's our purge control solenoid. Everything's connected. Now we're going to run that Keon engine running test again, and we're going to see that the engine is going to die. Okay, I'm trying to start this engine with the EVAP plugged in. Check this out. What do we have here? We have a vacuum leak. I just plugged everything the way it's supposed to go. Engine will not start. See that? Rough running? That's a vacuum leak. Now what happened here is that when I cleared the codes, everything went back to the fuel trims. So it's starting, the fuel trims are regulating right now, in other words, in other sense. So we have a vacuum leak. Without the vacuum leak, it was working fine because there was not unmetered air going through the system. Now there is, so it took a little while for it to start and stabilize. Now it's stabilized a little bit. I got a little bit of rough idle. In a couple of minutes it should stabilize. But my point is that our EVAP solenoid is defective. It's open, stuck open, and there's our vacuum leak. There's our system to lean, and there's our EVAP code. Let me press continue. We'll do the Keon engine running test. Press my brake, turn my steering wheel. Watch what's going to happen. See that sputtering? I don't know if you can hear it, but it's already sounds like a misfire. With the EVAP connected, with the EVAP disconnected, we did not have that issue. It's going to take about 2 minutes to complete this test. There we go. Engine just died. Come back to the screen. An error has occurred. Exit. Confirm. System to lean. It's our EVAP purge control solenoid. That's what's causing our problem. Check engine light is flashing right now. Let's go to memory codes. Let's see what is stored in memory codes. No codes present. Only the codes from Keon engine running. Keon engine running. Incorrect purge flow and EVAP system leak detected. I did the Keon engine off test as well. There's nothing there. But here we have confirmed that it's our EVAP control solenoid. Let's just put one of those suckers in it and be done with it. So here we have it, P0442, and I forget what the system 2 leak code was, but I'll post them up there. So here you have it, mass airflow sensor. I cleaned it up. I haven't gone for a test drive yet. I'm going to go ahead and put the EVAP purge control solenoid here and let the customer pick up the car. I put $5 of fuel there, So problem here is confirmed. I am probably going to give this car back to him, let him buy the part, and it's a good friend of my neighbor, so I'm doing him a favor right here, and plug that thing so he won't have no drivability issues while he's driving it. And there we have it. Okay, so here I am on a test drive after cleaning the mass airflow sensor. Second gear, it's very, very smooth. I'm going to make a right turn here. I'm going to do a complete stop. Care. And just take off again. That's first gear. Second, real smooth. Third gear, real smooth. Second gear was real harsh, and that's mass airflow sensor symptom. Fuel trims, I got them back to where they're supposed to go. I have not installed the EVAP purge solenoid. I just wanted to test drive the vehicle to see how the transmission was shifting. It's shifting perfect. Mass airflow sensor took care of the hard shifts. All we need is just that EVAP purge solenoid, and we're done with this vehicle.